On this very special occasion, we have with us Mr. Fernands, President and CES. So I would like to invite Stephen on stage and share the journey that has led us here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishal. Wow. When you sort of see yourself, you're like, wow, how did we get here? And when Vishal started out just saying, really it is all you. It's the team of customized energy solutions that just brought what we've done here to life. And so I'm just so honored and so glad to be here with you. Here are some of the people that I want to just recognize. Thank you, Dr. Fernands. He was the first person we met when we were on our evaluation. So Rahul and I came here in 2009 as part of US-India Business Council, and looking at renewable energy projects at that time. And we met with different regulators and different folks. And one of the things that I came away with was just how supportive people were. Like that they just wanted you to succeed, and they wanted to try to help. And I saw that from the beginning as his role in CRC and trying to have the regulations and have people that can implement them. Also, Dr. Rahul Tangia, who is from the very beginning. So I met him not long after I met Rahul Balwalkar, and we were on Rahul's PhD dissertation committee. And I was the only guy with a non-PhD allowed. Somehow they allowed me on. And I think Rahul vouched that I knew something about energy. And so I was able to be on there, and it cured me of wanting a PhD. So, but I learned a lot through that process about how to bring academics to solve real-world problems. And one of the things that I really liked about Carnegie Mellon's program was that it was not some ivory tower type program, but it was one that how do we bring this to life? And then after Rahul graduated, he had the opportunity to join pretty much any company he wanted in the world. And I wouldn't have been upset if he had chosen a different path. But one of the things he says, I think that here we can actually not just write reports, but we can actually help people to implement. We can actually make a bigger difference at Customized Energy Solutions. And so, so I appreciate Rahul, your faith in our company from you're joining in 2004, so we were a 6-year-old baby company at that point. We had 7 or 8 people. We were just figuring out sort of what some of our business models were going to be. Rahul started out managing our demand-side response programs, and quickly started talking about energy storage and some of the ideas. And we got a project up in New York, compressed energy storage, and saying, hey, how could this work? And so we went from there to where we are today, with energy storage being a critical part of the energy industry. And then I also wanted to welcome Dr. Satish Agnihotri, and I apologize if I mispronounce names. Just being able to be here to help build this industry, and people who are passionate about this industry moving forward in a positive direction for all. And I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you who have joined us on that path. One of the things that we quickly found as we started to look at how do we solve some of the rural electrification challenges here in India, was that academics and writing papers, and even some of the stuff that we did with monitoring facilities, of putting out things of saying, okay, let's find data, what's working, what's not working, that was all well and good, but we needed a Mr. Sen. You need a Mr. Sen in your life who can say, okay, but let's go out and actually test these batteries. Let's see if this actually works in the field. And he made us roll up our sleeves and from my understanding, sometimes wade through some rivers to serve some of the customers in those early days where we're trying to figure out what works for microgrids, what doesn't work for microgrids, what can we learn better. And he was the originator of some of our ideas on setting up an R&D center to test some of these things, saying, okay, how can we see if this works? Then as we move forward in time, we look to say, okay, this is great. We think we know some of the answers, but how do we get an ecosystem? How do we develop that? And that's really where IESA came from, was Rahul's vision to say, I've seen us develop coalitions in the United States of people that are like-minded to come together to try to solve complex problems. Can we do that here in India with energy storage? Can we start up a group? And the biggest coalitions in the United States are like 20 or 30. We're well over 100. How many people are in IESA? I lose track. 180 companies. They're part of it. Just give them a round of applause for that. I mean, 108 people to agree on anything is hard. To agree, though, we need to work together to try to move this industry forward. And it's looking different here than it does in other parts of the world. India has leapfrogging 2- and 3-wheelers. So instead of energy storage and electric vehicles, where a lot of countries benefiting the top 1% or top 10% of the economic population, here in India, the initial investment, the initial beneficiaries of electrification have happened at the ground level, at the level of the rickshaw driver, at the level of the community that now has more available telecom because they have electric backup for the telecom towers. So again, I'm like you, I'm a student learning from this. It's one of the things I love about our team is the humility to say, like, we know just a small fraction of what's out there to know, and we're learning all the time. And staying humble, staying inquisitive, curious about our company. So I thank all of you for joining us on that journey of being searchers of truth. I praise God that led me to this industry, and first of all led me to my wonderful wife Rochelle, who is somewhere here. So Rochelle and I met at grad school, and we both focused on the not-for-profit sector. So that was what happened after we graduated. And I was working as outreach director. She was working with children's advocacy, and so our heart was to serve. And when we came to Philadelphia, that was still what we were looking to do. How can we serve? And she ended up getting a job at Pico Energy, thinking she'd go back to school. And Pico Energy was a local Philadelphia electric company. And so she was the first one in our family to go into energy. And she was like, there's interesting stuff happening with deregulation. So at the same time, in 1998, that the regulatory reforms were happening here in India 25 years ago. In the US, we were also having those regulatory reforms. And Philadelphia had some of the highest rates in the country. So we had everyone come there wanting to help compete and to win over customers. And I followed in Rochelle's footsteps at Pico Energy as a contractor, and then through learning there, saw that opportunity to start customized energy solutions. So I thank you, very much for this opportunity to learn with you all, and so thank you so much. Have a wonderful time today, and for those of you who are sticking around for tomorrow as well, and I really, again, appreciate all of you. Thank you.